Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have an interesting video, something different. Actually, I haven't worked in a very long time. It's a 2008 Cadillac XLR with a 4.6 liter engine, and the module that I have this time is for the convertible top, the folding top. This is Gene from Maryland. This is your module. He sent this a couple of weeks or so ago, and I had to order parts due to not being a common module to come for repairs. And I have mapped out the entire board, do all my homework as I normally do, and I'm about to do the test because this was completely dead, no communication. So I have to actually order main components, but at least it's not something that I cannot get. It's a little pricey due to the same thing. They know that it's no longer available, and so components are not like something I can get from like Newark or DigiKey or something like that. So yeah, it is what it is, but at least I can get that resolved for him. Let me just show you. Okay, so this is the module is small, simple. I have the scanner connected and ready. This just talks to the computer, or sorry, to the scanner in class 2 DLC2 class 2 serial for GM, right? Let me also show you some of the information that I have gathered through this visit. Let's go in order. So let me just show you the module before I attempt any repairs or anything. He sent, some information as far as the part number, the vehicle being, and so on. It's Cadillac, again, 2008 XLR and folding top interior trim. This is the module right here on this side, right? He didn't write the concerns. He just sent the paperwork. I think he spoke to me, and I always tell the customers, please write the things in the notes, because conversations, it's very hard for me to keep up. I try to write notes and everything, but sometimes I get a call from a customer, and right after I was talking to you, and it just, I forget. And if it's in writing, I don't forget. All right, so this is the module itself in there. This is just showing closely so I can read the VIN number properly for the vehicle. This is the part number on the module. Again, the same picture that you saw from him. And this is me doing tests after repairs, where I have right now the 5-bore reference. And we're going to see this in here. Let me see what else I have in here. Yeah, this one. This is actually very important because in this picture, you're going to see that I have the folding top position sensor fault. And that's because it wasn't connected. And I'm actually doing that on purpose because I want to make sure, the logic on the module itself is now good. Because it actually did damage the main processor. I was able to copy the information and then install it back into the new one, replace some of the Darlington transistors that take place in control, the relays, just to be in the safe side, capacitors, diodes, and so on, right? But that's what that fault goes in there. So that's pretty much all that is in here. As far as the wire diagrams, I think the best thing to use in here is the colored, which I have narrowed down, and it's good. This module has 3 connectors. X1 is the main connector for power and ground. It's very small in the center. And then we have connector X2 with 36 pins. It has 2 rows, C and then D with 16 pins each. And then connector X3, which is connector X2 is actually the Y connector. On the right side, you're going to see it on the bench shortly. And then the other one, it has just like a flat pins. The one with 36 pins is round pins. So what I need for here to communicate is, okay, powers and grounds on connector X1, which is A and B. There is an ignition supply voltage in pin D11, which says accessory voltage. Let me just get a box in here so you can see where I am. And I'm going to make that diagram just a little bigger so you can see it too better. So right here, we have the voltage that goes into and supply voltage for all the switches, which is very important. And the control for that relay is coming from the body control module based on, the switch on, like the push switch, which is also here. When that one gets pushed, it also sends the signals to the BCM, and that provides the power. So that's just the way it works. Communication is in D14. And that is a class 2, like it says in here, class 2 serial data. So those are the main powers and grounds that I need to talk to this. It's pretty simple. As far as the sensors, they have a 5-bore reference, which I have a meter connected to it. And C13 is the whole same 5-bore reference for all. So if one gets shorted, it can short out the rest. And then ground, which is sensor ground and pin C15. And then signal for each of those position sensors. We got a folding tab position sensor, which I'm actually now connected, is in D1. We have the trunk. Let me just see what it says in here. Hinge latch tool folding tab stowed compartment position sensor. That is in D3. And we have another one that says seat belt digital radio receiver folding tab storage compartment front panel position sensor. I'm not sure why. I think, oh, that's the position where it's located. It's actually just the front panel position sensor, and the other one is the rear panel position sensor. So this one is the rear panel position sensor, and that goes into D3. Sorry, D2. So D1, D2, and D3 are the position sensors, which are very important in also the switches, right? So if one switch is not agreeing, the top tap will not work, but that's not what is in here. So let's do the test first on these position sensors and no communication. I actually tested Gene. He has not responded. Probably it's Sunday, and I'm actually trying to catch up with all the work that I have in here, but he has not responded to my questions. If he knows, it's probably he would not know because there was no communication with the module. So they're not sure how much testing or everything, because as you see in the notes in there, I got not much to go by. So, and this is where, guys, if you don't write the things down, I can just check so much. But if you give me a specifics, I can help you. I can check components and I can check, shores to ground and everything. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be an order for the microprocessor to run the pump, to check the valves, to etc. So if you don't give me the specifics, I might miss something, because it's impossible to reproduce everything, especially when you lack of information from me. All right, so let's do the test. So let's go back to this view. I'm going to put the scanner on the view for you, and so is the meter. Like that, you guys can see that we have the 5-board reference. Let me organize that a little better for your view. Let me make the scanner a little bigger, because the rest is not really that important for, my bench. And I'm going to keep that meter in there so we can see that, yeah, the module is powered up when we're talking. Like I said, I am connected now to the top position, folding top position sensor. And you can see there is now in 52, 53 steps or counts. I can change that. Let me just show you. So as you can see, I'm changing the values of that sensor. It's a 5-board reference sensor, so I can go into my simulator and use one of my potentiometers. That's all they are in there, which provides power and ground and the 5-board reference, so it makes a move. I can, and I have explained this in multiple other videos, that you can use a potentiometer and connect it to the 5-board reference, the sensor ground that you have from the module, and then just move the knob, and then use it for the signal, and you will expect the response in here. So then the module is reading properly and the communication is good. So all this so far is working perfectly. So I hope that I can get an answer from Gene and see if I have to check anything else. Otherwise, I'm going to pause the video for a little bit and I'll be right back. All right, yeah, guys, I've been waiting for him and no response. So actually, let me see, because I just got a text. No, that's the front cameras. All right, so what I decided to do, as you see, I'm in a different view, or a screen on the scanner, and I actually have now connected a test light. So this test light is instead of the pump. So let me take you over to the wire diagrams, because I didn't explain that part. So in this diagram, we also have at the bottom right here the folding pump valve assembly, right? So inside here, we got a folding tab temperature sensor. We have the motor, which is the one that's going to rotate, depends on the position the convertible is. It will be moving to the A direction or to the B direction. So what it does is just polarity wire change. So sometimes one wire will be ground, and sometimes when it's going, let's say you're close, it's going to be, let's just follow the diagram. We have a blue and a green wire. And as you see, it says pump direction A, and then the green says pump direction B. Again, if you're going to the A direction to keep the same as the send in there, maybe M is going to be positive and B is going to be negative. But when it's going into the B direction, B is going to be positive, and then A, which is going to be negative. So you see the polarity changes. And this is another way that I can command through the scanner and make sure that everything is at least as far as I can check here with that information. Yeah, hopefully I forgot to remove that from the view, not too much in your way. But yeah, so I got a test light connected again to pins M and P onto that connector with 16 pins. They're named with letters, and that's connector X3. And with the scanner, I can now, you see, we have everything. We have the battery voltage, pump motor sensor counts, which is not connected, and it's not a problem because we're doing this. And when or before you do this, let me actually get out of here so you see where I am. In the case you have a scanner, so I connected to, oops, sorry, that's not the engine, right? I've went up too much. So I'm going to go into the folding top module. Again, we can read the fault codes. And you see now the position, the what was the folding top position center sensor is no longer present. Why? Because I am injecting the signal. You see, this is again to try, and I didn't erase any fault codes. This is just because I am connected. So this is great that we can see that is this the logic and everything is working good. So I go back into functional tests, and in here is where you can check about 1, 2, 3, and this is great because this is the way you will test completely the rooftop. When you go and activate the pump, you see pump A direction, pump B direction. So if I click in here, look what it says. This is a caution that says the hydraulic system might be disabled. The hydraulic system, the hydraulic bypass valve counterclockwise to inhibit the system from moving out of the sequence during the test. And this is very important. If you're going to do that, you need to put that into the bypass position so the pump will spin in freely and the oil will just come back to the reservoir, because otherwise you will move the rooftop without being actually commanded from the switch, and that will put it into a moving out of sequence position, and that is a problem. All right, so as you make sure that you follow always the recommendation, Snap-on is very good on that, and that I give that to Snap-on because it's always really good in information. All right, so we're going to continue. And in here, I just, on the top of the scanner, you can see what it says on, off, right? So, and that will activate the switches inside here, right? So on, I can hear the switch in the relay and look at the test light, right? So, and now we will not see, exactly the direction of that voltage, but I can show you, let's say I'm going to remove the 5-volt reference from the multimeter, and I'm going to use my multimeter. Let me just entangle a little bit in here so we can see what polarity we have in here. Let me grab something to put in here. 1 second, guys. So again, remember, we're going to be connected into M and P. So right now, if I touch into the cable M or pin M in here, we got 14 volts. If I touch in here, we got that's millivolts. Don't get confused. So this is the ground, right? So again, M is 14 volts, right? 14 VDC. And if I touch into P, is 14 millivolts. So that's a very good ground. Now, if I get out of here, so we're going to, first turn them off. We're going to exit. And we're going to go into pump direction B. Same caution warning. And we're going to click on, right? The test light is on. You're going to see, well, it's doing the same thing. No, it's not. I'm going to prove you. Now I'm going to touch P. Should be positive now. And look, P is 14.1 volts DC. And now M should be ground. And M is 14 millivolts. So that is a perfect ground in the polarity change. So now you can see what I'm showing you here is I'm giving you a lot of good information that you can perform in the test. So it's for the switches and everything. I'm an expert on these. And when I work into something, guys, let me move the whole stuff in here. Let's have a chat. So when I'm working in a module, I'm not just going get the components and send it back to the customer. I like to gather all the data, the tests that I can do, and also share with your customer and with the technicians, right? Because this is a good way for any technician to get to my video and then, wow, Mike was doing this. Well, let's duplicate that. And then if they need any information, I'm now an expert. I know everything exactly how it's working on this module 100%. And so is the position sensors, the switches, the valves, everything. So yes, I can fully test this. If you have any other problems, please write down the specifics so I can duplicate, because sometimes heat, vibration, maybe I need to get, a valve to get the load higher and load test the circuit, with a bigger load to reproduce your concerns. Otherwise, I just do activations, because if it's no concerns of, a pump, even though I replace the circuits and everything, I would just maybe miss something because you're not helping me, because the components I replace, but let's say if a small crack on the board, right? And if I don't add that extra load amperage, it might not open up because I'm just doing it with less amount of amperage that is on the vehicle, right? So it's very important that you give me those specifics. And guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Happy Sunday. See you next time. Bye-bye.